Hey friends, Mario Cavallo here. We are going to dive into part 3 of how to identify and protect yourself from manipulation and deception. Actually, this is in the category of advanced communication skills. And reminder where this program came from. I first did this program several years ago for Vistage International, which is an international CEO mentoring organization worldwide. And there are several CEO chairs in Shanghai. Many years ago, when I was living in Shanghai, I was working with Vistage CEO Chair Peter Harris. It's when I first shared this program with business executives. Um, you know, What's the difference between talking about manipulation and deception, which sounds negative, intentionally so? I'm I'm here to tell you it's worse than ever in the real world, in media and mainstream media and social media. And what's the difference between that, which definitely has a negative connotation, and persuasion and influence? Persuasion and influence. I want to persuade you. I want to influence you. I want you to do what I want you to do, think what I want you to think, buy what I want you to buy. That could be good. I want to manipulate you. Yeah, well, that's pretty much the same thing. I want to deceive you. Oh, no. Wait a minute. If I want to manipulate you, okay. Yeah, I'm a salesman and I'm manipulating you, but what's the difference? If I want to deceive you. Well, now it's sounding more like I want to cheat you, and I want to, in a way, I'm going to cause you harm, right? So the difference is obviously morals, intent, and ethics. Okay. The problem is you don't know what's happening when the techniques of communication, sales techniques, the tools, the techniques, when they're being used on you. That's the problem. You don't know they're being used. Okay. You are implicitly following along with someone who is persuading and influencing you. Hey, that could be a good thing. You could be out to buy a car. You're ready to buy a car. You sort of are ready to pull the trigger on that, on the BMW instead of the Mercedes. You're not quite sure. Okay. And a good professional salesman is going to pull you along, but they're going to pull you along for all the right reasons. And the value is there if you make that purchase. You already know the value is there if you make that purchase. Okay. So nobody's deceiving you. Nobody's manipulating you in a negative way. There's lots of persuasion and influence going on to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel trust, all right? And then to get you to make a decision. And of course, the salesman wants you to make the decision that the salesman wants you to make, not the decision to, oh, okay, so we're going to think about it for a couple more weeks. No. That's not what the salesman wants to hear, okay? When we move this into the darker territory, we're implying that there is malicious intent to manipulate you and to deceive you, which is unfortunately often the case. The motivation of the people who are doing that to you, they have an agenda. Whatever that agenda might be, they have that agenda. Okay. Let me make a technical comment for you in your learning, which is number one. Yes, I went ahead and uploaded the slides. I said in previous I wasn't going to, but it's nice to have them there. I uploaded some slides as reference, but at the same time, I still want to tell you for your learning, let's do this the old-fashioned way. No matter what, in all learning, I believe any person should have a nice pen. This is a very nice pen, and a nice diary. Okay. This is probably my 15th diary book that I have. Okay. Over the years, every 6 months to a year or so, I fill one of these up and then it goes up on the shelf And then I get myself another fresh notebook, okay? A diary, call it what you want, all right? So have this in front of you, make your own notes, and pay attention to me when I'm going to tell you the keywords that you need to know and understand. I'm going to say, hey, like, write this down. This is important. And in fact, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? How do people persuade and influence you? And you don't know it's really happening unless you've learned, then you recognize it. And that's why we're here, okay? And again, on the bad side, that is, how are they manipulating and deceiving you? And again, you don't know it. They're doing it. You don't realize they're doing it, okay? And that's the problem. Either way, you want to be aware. You want to be conscious, all right? I mentioned in the previous session, I'll mention it again, right? Awareness, control, design, okay? You can't control what you're not aware of. It's incredibly important to be aware. So if a salesman is, if a good salesman is using you can hear the certain technique that they're using and you recognize it and go, yeah. Okay. So this is what you want to be able to do. In this sense, I'm saying there's things that are happening that are implicit, okay, which means you don't know they're happening. And I'm taking these things, these tools, these techniques, and we're taking what's this implicit thing that's happening, and we're making it explicit. I'm explicitly explaining, right? Explicitly explaining what was previously implicit. To say it in a more casual way, so you know what the hell's going on. So you know what's being done to you in case it's bad for you, okay? Here's a comment. Look, there's a lot of different ways to approach this, but here's some notes I wrote down. Take a look. Just as your reference, I made these notes before I turned on record, okay? You are persuaded and influenced by a combination of the following 8 things, all right? Command language, see, hear, feel language, okay? That's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic language, or see, okay, visual language, auditory language, feeling language, emotions, see and hear and feel. See what I mean? Do you hear what I'm saying? Does that make sense? That was three. Just now, that was 3 separate types of me soliciting a response from you. You see what I mean? That was a visual question, wasn't it? Do you see what I mean? Do you hear what I'm saying? That was an auditory question. Do you hear me? Okay. Does that make sense? That's a feeling kind of question. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. See, hear, feel. These are questions that I just asked you to confirm that you're on the track with me, which is what I want. I want you on track with me, right? Especially if you're a speaker with an audience, you want your audience with you at all times, okay? So asking them quick little questions like that keeps them with you, leading them along, okay? Salesman wants to know you're with them. See what I mean? Oh, yeah. And then, of course, when you're responding to these little questions, the person who's asking you these questions is watching you, looking at you, seeing how you're responding, to give them a sense of how in sync, how in line you are with them or not, right? Okay. So command language, which is telling you what to do, okay? Straight up telling you what to do, buried in a sentence, okay? A command, okay? Listen to me. That's a command, okay? And it tells your brain, listen to me. Listen, okay? Look at me. Oh, okay. And you look. I mean, the degree to which you will look at the person who does that to you goes up at least 20, 30%, if not 100%, where you will look at the person 100%. So they're doing it to get your attention. But frankly, let's be blunt, right? What is it? It's a command. It's telling you what to do. So in that sense, it's pure manipulation. And you sort of don't realize it's happening because it comes along in the middle of an otherwise friendly sentence. It's not meant as a bad thing. It can be a bad thing, but it's meant to be used by the communicator to keep you with them, okay? command language. See, hear, feel language. Questions, right? Tagged questions, like I just said. You see what I mean? You hear me? Does that make sense? Makes sense, right? I'm asking you a question to confirm along the way, known as tagging, asking you questions and tagging with questions, okay? Next, pacing and leading you with a form. And that form is as, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and so, as, and so, okay? It's a form to pace you along and to lead you along and to lead you to the conclusion. The conclusion is and so. So it's a it's a sentence structure. Write it down. Write down all of these. 1, command language. Okay. 2, see, hear, feel language. Okay. 3, using questions and question tags. Writing it down. 4, pacing and leading. Pacing and leading. As, dot, 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 and, dot, 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 and, dot, 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 and so, final conclusion. Don't worry, we're going to look at some examples real quick. Next technique, triple repetition. You will learn, you will improve, it will happen. Okay? You will learn, and that's not quite right, but it's still a triple. Best is when you do an exact replica where every phrase starts with the same word. You will learn, you will grow, you will get better results. Wonderful. Oh, does that sound good? Of course it sounds good. In fact, it sounds really, really good. Okay. And it's especially true that when you group information that you want to impress people with into threes, and you do it as a triple repetition like that. There is da-da-da, there is da-da-da, and there is da-da-da. That's the truth. Oh, okay. Okay. It's very convincing. It's very persuasive. Remember, there's all kinds of mathematical influences in nature that are natural. And I'm telling you, with the human brain, don't ask me why. I didn't go that deeply into it. Okay. I'm not a licensed psychologist. I didn't go studying all the depths of exactly why, the way the brain works, that when you put information in groups of 3, the brain likes it. The brain absorbs it better. Okay. 5's too many. 4's kind of weird. 2's not enough. 3's just nice. It's nice and smooth. Okay. 3's work really, really well. Okay. 3, 7, 10, 13. What is it? No, the Fibonacci sequence. Okay. Okay. Prime numbers. All this kind of information. The Fibonacci sequence is what? 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55. Is that right? Is that the Fibonacci sequence? Anyway, in nature, numbers are found to have a rhythm, and the human brain notices these things and is in sync with these things. The human brain likes information in groups of 3s. So the more you do that, the better. Okay. And triple repetition is one of those techniques that works extremely well. When you're giving a speech, when you want to make a point, use a triple repetition. Okay. Next is using write it down, universal, undeniable truths. If I repeat to you a string of universal, undeniable truths, you can't disagree with me. It's natural. And you automatically go, yeah. Because what I've said is an undeniable, universal truth. Okay. Salesmen call this the yes set. Okay. The yes set. If I can get you to say yes, yes, yes. So a salesman will overtly ask you questions. Let me ask you this, Mary. Do you like the car? Oh, yeah. No. Do you really like the car? Yeah. The color, it's the one you want? Yeah. You seem like you really want to get rid of that old car. It's true? Yeah, for sure. You now see, I've got four yeses in a row out of you so far. Okay. Let me ask you this. If I go talk to my manager, I get you the right price and I get it for you today. You ready to buy it? I'll get you the right price. If I do that, you ready to buy it? And I'm trying to get that fifth big yes out of you. But I've primed your brain because I've already gotten four. Okay. So the salesmen call this the yes set. Right. Universal undeniable truths are a little bit different because they're not direct, overt questions where I get you to answer yes, 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 yes. They're actually very, very subtle. Okay. And I want to go through this with you right now. Let's take a look at what some of these are. Yeah, here we go. Okay. I would like you to imagine that we're all in the same city, whatever city that you're in. And I'd like you to imagine that we're all having this workshop together and we're in a hotel. Okay? That's it. So we all got together in a room, in a meeting room. We're all together sitting there, and we're also online is fine, right? Some of us are on webcam, some of us are online watching, in Zoom, in the new world. We're in the post-COVID world. All right. So wherever we all are, but I have to give you an example. So I'm just going to use Shanghai, okay, as the example. Let me show you this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Take a look at this. Okay. And I'm also going to shut off the banner. There we go. Okay. Friends, as we're all sitting here in Shanghai together in these nice, comfortable chairs, and some of you online all over the world and Zoom, here in Shanghai, the weather's cooling down. In fact, another nice sunny day to appreciate. Guess what? We all have common goals and needs, don't we? As you're looking at me and you're listening to my voice, it's easy to agree. We all want to do our best. We want to do our best. We want to live right, to excel, to feel productive, to feel significant, to do more. And the last thing I want to do is try and convince you or manipulate you. Okay. Stop and identify what's undeniably true. In the beginning of all those things that I said, why did I do that? Why would I say, pace and lead you with these items which are all undeniably true in this statement? And let's take a look at it. Okay. I'm going to go forward and find it. Hang on. There we go. What I said to you was a version of this. Okay. I find myself standing here today in front of all of you here in Shanghai at this lovely hotel on another one of Shanghai's humid or sunny days or winter days, depends on what the weather is, which season of the year it is. Okay. And each of you is looking at me right now and you're thinking, this is what's important. We all want the same thing. We all have common goals and needs. You see? So what am I saying? As I find myself here, am I here? Yeah. So, T up here in the slide stands for true. As I find myself standing here today, is it true? Yes. With everyone, all of you sitting there looking at me and listening. Now, there's a lot happening here. Okay. You're sitting there. Whoa. Am I sitting in a chair? Am I sitting there? Yeah. And some of you who are online on Zoom? Yep. So it's all true. Okay. Listening to me, looking at me and listening to me. Yes, it's true and obvious that you're standing there and I'm sitting here and we're all looking at you and listening to you. All of those things are undeniably, universally true, which is a good thing. Okay, because that sets the unconscious comfort for you. Oh yeah. So it creates unconscious agreement because everything I'm saying is universally, friendly, undeniably true. On another of Shanghai's cold, damp kind of winter days, We all have, and then I want to go back. Actually, I like the first example better than this one. Yeah, I like this one better. We all have common goals and needs, don't we? Is it true? Yeah, we all have common goals and needs, don't we? Question tag. Okay, we do. You're looking at me, you're listening to my voice. It's easy to agree. Oh, it is? It's easy to agree? Why is it easy to agree? Because the communicator told you it is. It's easy to agree what? Is it hard to agree? No, 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 no. Why would a communicator tell you that it's hard to agree or difficult to agree? That's not how they want. Is that how they want you to feel? Communicator wants you to feel that things are easy. They want you to agree with them. It's easy to agree. Why? Again, that's a suggestion. It's a suggestion to your mind, and it's easy to agree. Oh, it is? Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I agree. I already agree with all the previous things that you said because they're all undeniably true. See what I mean? So the communicator is doing a very nice job of pacing and leading you along, okay, with this as and so structure of undeniable universal truths. Okay? And it's easy to agree. What? Now we're starting to get into the specific things that I want you to think, I want you to feel, I want you to know, I want you to believe, and ultimately call to action, what I want you to do. It's easy to agree we all want to do our best, to live right, to excel, to feel productive, to feel significant. Yes, all those things are true. Now, the last thing I want to do, though, is try and convince you or manipulate you. That's not why I'm here. So now what you've done in the end there is this kind of, I just call it the charm move, okay? And actually, it's rooted in this idea of convince. People don't want to feel like you're manipulating them. They want to feel natural. You've just said a whole string of undeniably, naturally, universally true things to them. So they do feel natural, okay? But still, you're up in front of the room in front of them. You really want to disarm them and make them feel like you're not trying to convince them, because there is a mode in a person's brains called the meta program where people require a lot of convincing, and they want you to convince them, but a lot of people, they don't want you to try and convince them because they feel like you are being tricky and you are trying to manipulate them. So that's why you should say, but listen, don't misunderstand me. The last thing I want to do is convince you, when in fact, the very thing you want to do is convince them. But I've got your trust because I've built up this rapport with you. We'll talk more about that later too. That's what it's all about, to make you feel comfortable with me and believe me. So I'm saying all of these things which are universally, undeniably true, to create yeses, to create, as you see right on the slide there, come on, this isn't that complicated. I'm just wanting to create agreeable feelings. Coming up later, I'm going to ask you for something. The casual, less technical way of explaining all these things that are happening to you that you don't know are happening is the communicator is just softening you up. Okay. And we can think about that being, for example, a politician or a preacher. This is the two prime examples that we can all relate to. I find it really hard to understand why, if you are sitting in a church in front of a preacher who travels around the world in a private jet and has all kinds of, expensive watch on and a fancy suit and is in a multi-million-dollar church and standing up there telling you how all your salvation depends on Jesus and this and that, and it's fine. I don't mind the spiritual beliefs as a way of life, but I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to the manipulation, because they're going to ask you for money. They have millions of dollars. Okay. You could very well easily be a person who has a family where at the end of the month, after making a few $1,000s a month, struggling like hell, and you don't have enough money for the education you want to give your child. What the hell are you doing giving someone who has more money than you that you can't afford to give them? Okay. Same thing is even worse with politicians. Why would you do this? I get emails, from whatever organization, Trump, um, Jay Sokoloff, this attorney guy. Oh yeah, this appeal of, I think it was about had something to do with China, right? Something to do with China and fighting for democracy and freedom and fighting against authoritarian regimes. Yeah, I care about those things. Good, because we need your help. Even if you only send $5, it will go a long way to da 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 da. And I'm just, why? Okay, right there in the slide, is we have common goals and needs and interests, don't we? We want to do our best. We want to live right, to excel, to feel productive, to feel significant. In this case, it's we want to do what's right. We want to support what's right. We care about what's right. Okay. Our way of life and all of the agree. Okay. And if you send even only $5, it'll help. Oh, okay. You can't. Well, but the guy sending you the email is a billionaire. Okay. The organization, is what, owned by Donald Trump or whatever. I'm just using Trump as an example. These people are multi-millionaires, or, which is unfathomable, billionaires, asking you, a middle-class citizen, for money, and you're stupid enough to give it to them. Okay. Why? Because the combination of command language, see, hear, feel language, pacing and leading you with universal, undeniable truths, triple repetition language, and emotion, and reminding me that I'm charming you, reminding you that I'm charming you and I'm not trying to convince you. I want you to do it because you feel good about it, not because I'm trying to convince you and it's only $5. Well, of course, I want to help you. So I hit you with a combination of all those things. Okay. And I manipulate and deceive you. Again, if it's a good and happy thing, hey, it's all right. A salesman is supposed to do a good job. And if they're selling you something of value, that's wonderful. I use the car as an example all the time. It's a great example. You may really want to spend that money. Good. Let the salesman do a bit of a good job and be professional and convince you to buy the sale, because he knows you're not going to regret that. That salesman isn't doing anything negative or deceptive, okay, to manipulate and deceive you. But there are people out there who are. I really do regard this example that I gave you. There's many others, where, again, people with zillions of times more money than you are making all of these appeals to get you, who can't afford, you can't pay your bills at the end of the month. You don't have any money left. What are you doing giving millionaires your money? This is a really, really good example. All the ways that they do it. I'm going to stop here. We will continue going into more depth with other examples in future sessions. If you enjoyed this, if you learned something, of course, please support my work. I appreciate it. Many of you know I'm based here in China, in Shenyang in Northeast China. I have a paypal.me button called Dragon Quartz Audio, which is the name of one of my China projects. And you can make a donation to me there on PayPal if you feel this is worth it. I would appreciate your supporting my work. Otherwise, what else would I like to end this with? Let me see. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Please do subscribe to my Counterpoint China newsletter on Substack if China is of interest to you. And let's see what else. Yeah. Keep your head up for another video I'm going to be doing very soon, because I got a number of topics in this area, and that is tips on health and well-being for older men. Okay. I'm an older man, and I've had a lot of interesting and important experiences, health scares and concerns. I've learned a lot along the way. At 62 years old, I am 6'2", 198 pounds, in great shape. Not the best shape in the world, but I hit 30 push-ups in a row last month. That's pretty good. I'm feeling good and happy and proud about that. There are some health issues that older men need to concern themselves with. I'm going to make the first video on this topic on older men, heart health, heart disease, statins, cholesterol, the food we eat. That's going to be that topic for those of you who are older men and who, man, guys, we're running out of time, right? So, I'm assuming I'm 62. I got a bargain with God to make it to 88. It's like, okay, I'll accept 88. Now, as all of you know, it may not happen, right? There's people in my family who's live into their 90s, okay? And my mom's 85 and she's incredibly healthy. On the other hand, there's a lot of people that I know in their 50s, 60s, same age as me. And guess what? They're gone. They're already gone. Another gentleman, another friend of ours here recently died. Okay. Last year, I had a really good friend die. Both of them were like 60. Okay. A few years back, lost my brother, 60. Okay. So, I'm counting the blessings. But you got to think about it, right? How many more years you got, right? Now, from 62 to 88 for me, I'm giving myself a frame. You do the same. Give yourself a frame, right? That's 26 years. Folks, I don't know. At any given day, 5 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and the good Lord takes you to the pearly gates. I don't know. Okay. But I do know every day we can make this effort to be as healthy as we can. So it's a big deal. Tips and health and well-being for older men to do our best to be healthy and be in well-being for our loved ones and the people around us, things we want to accomplish, be in well-being as older men. That's what that video series is all about. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. Be safe, be wise, be careful, and have a cool 2023. We're on our way. Bye-bye.